to Vince on the chat. Exciting times ahead for us.
Yes.
They
are on. I believe it's Spanish. We're on the up and up.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I've heard that before.
It's a real saying. People say it.
Yeah, people
in
do.
Spain.
Yeah, absolutely. Malaysian Grand Prix with some big news. Well, some news anyway from the track that the gentleman here to my right has said is perhaps the most fun track to drive.
I think so. I think it's pretty fun. It's pretty flowy. It's got some good elevation. It's wide. Mm-hmm. Never been there in real life to feel the heat. That part doesn't seem fun at all. But a company called Dromo Applied Italian Circuit Design has tried to make it even more fun. Improve on the original design. This was, like I was just saying before we came back here, this is the first of the Tilke circuits. Mm-hmm. It was built all the way back in 2009, which I didn't realize was that old. This is the 18th running of the Malaysian Grand Prix, as far as I know.
Oh my God.
17-year-old circuit. It's crazy. But anyways, they decided for this year to completely resurface the entire circuit and reprofile a bunch of it. Some of it was just to improve water runoff. Some of it was to improve overtaking. Some of it was to make it more difficult. Some parts were to make it a little easier. It's kind of all over the place. You can pull up those two links here. They've done a good rundown on these two links. The motorsport.com has got some pictures from the design, and some F1 Fanatics got these side-by-sides. This might be better, but it kind of starts in the middle of the gallery for some reason, the link. So you gotta skip ahead through the pictures.
No, but hang on a second. Leave this picture up, because I think that if anything, I guess I didn't notice that it was like this.
Turn 5 though.
No. Oh, okay, yeah. But no, this is a new one though. That is what they're doing, right? Like they're adding that camber there, the extra camber.
On the second half on turn 6 there, yeah.
Yeah.
Start at turn 1 though. Let's go back to turn 1.
No, but hang on a second. I think this is interesting because it shows right away that there's basically now two ways to approach that corner.
This corner is one of the most fun. You're going over 250 kilometers an hour through turn 5 and 6. It's like a big sweeping left and a big sweeping right, but on the old layout. But why are we starting here?
Okay, fine.
Yeah, let's come back to this for a second. Click next. Go forward. Yeah, you'll get to turn 1. Yeah, I don't know why the pictures are also backwards. So next is going to the first turn. Next one. But what they've done for one more back. Here we go. So the first corner is very similar to how the China circuit starts. It's like a never-ending right, that circles around. It's almost a 360 corner, and then a never-ending left. And kind of what they did here is, you can see on the outside they added a curb, and they changed the inside curb. And on the exit of the second turn, they raised up the exit. I guess you'd say they sort of pushed the apex further and lifted it up to add drainage.
Oh yeah.
So you can go back to the previous picture.
Yeah, go ahead.
Mike's screwing around. There's a lot of wires here in the studio. Yeah, if you can click to turn 3.
Back?
Previous. Yeah, previous photo is turn 3 somehow. So here, these are not actually race lines, but the blue there shows where the water runoff was designed to go before. Mm-hmm. And outside of turn 3, remember this was a problem in the race last year, or when it's rained at this. Anytime it's rained at the circuit,
it formed rivers.
Yeah, it makes a little river off of turn 3.
Yeah.
So what they did was raise the center of the circuit up, so it's kind of crusted. It's like a little hill, and the water runs off 3 ways now. They've way improved the drainage here. So you can go to the next one.
Previous.
The next previous. And here they just changed the curbing on corner 4. Nothing too crazy. You can go to the next one. But the run up to this corner though, like the front straight, we actually skipped the front straight. It was bumpy the same way. There were 3 dips like that where the car would go woo, 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 and sort of give you a couple waves. They smooth that right out. I think in another 18, 17 years, it's going to look the same again. the waviness is gonna come
it's
back
all-
with the heat.
Well, they built it in basically swamp water. Like,
Yeah.
like
It rains all the time in Malaysia.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
hot as hell because it keeps the asphalt soft,
yeah.
and that's just gonna happen. But yeah, the entrance to the corner is the same, except it's a lot smoother now, so it should be a little easier. You can go to the next one. This next one is turn 5 and 6 where we were.
Now here's the real deal.
Yeah, so I think here those are
These are just where the water would have.
those are also the water, but also the way that it's profiled, like that it's crusted as well. So I
Yeah.
think it's a lot easier, and you can see the red wedge there.
Mhm.
So it was sort of
That's the profile. That's the cross section. I guess.
that's the profile. So turn 5 was cambered. It was just kind of the surface of the track was flat, but it was angled, maybe like 10 degrees in, so you get like a bit of a banking. But now it's curved, so like it's.
Sorry.
If you go down to the second one, the new way, it's still banked, but even steeper on the inside line, and on the outside line is almost negative cambered there. It's flat.
Yeah.
So if you try to pass on the outside, you're gonna have a harder time with grip. It's not really possible, but it looks like you'll be able to exit turn 6 a little wider than you used to.
It's
You just
not.
have to
It's
get
not
this-
really possible, but you can bet Max Verstappen's gonna try.
Yeah. The thing is with this that you can't see from this picture, like I said, is you're going over 250 through this left-right.
Shit.
And on the old design, like I haven't seen cars run on this yet. The old design, you had to get that perfect. Like you had to really catch the line, or else you go super wide outside of turn 6. So we can go to the next one. This next corner is a lot of fun too. This is super flowy, like a square corner, number 7.
Oh,
I
this
can
is just
skip-
showing
this is
turn
different.
5 again.
Yeah, this is
And
sort of
the
like showing
cambering.
more of the profiling, I guess.
Yeah.
These pictures are strange order. So here we go, 7 and 8. Again, bumps on the in. This
approach the
turn
corner.
was perfect. Yeah, you hit inside of 7 and 8. It's a squared corner, but you run it like it's rounded.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty interesting. So I guess they'll be able to just
Hitting
run,
both apexes, like the first one you hit it early, and the last one you hit it late.
Yeah, basically. And then
Yeah.
the turn 8 is downhill as well, so you kind of like run out when you come onto the straight after 8. But I think the cars they're predicting this circuit, this new profile is going to let the cars run 3 seconds faster. And the cars this year have already broken records at a few circuits just on horsepower and efficiency and everything combined. But I think they'll be able to run even faster through there because the bumps are taking out of the run in. You can
This is turn 9.
You can skip this one too, I think. But it looks like they put a mini curb or widened the inside. Again, bumps removed on the into this. Another thing you can't see is that straight going into 9 is a steep downhill. You go in right downhill. You hit the apex of 9 right at the bottom of the hill and then climb back up to 10. And then 10, 11 is kind of a lot like 7 and 8 where it's kind of squared off and flows.
Oh, there's
But I think with all the bumps removed to the entrances to these corners, the cars are going to be a lot more settled and faster.
There you go. New drainage as well in turns 13 and 14.
All right, they have to add a
So
drain
they're really
Malaysia
like
gets a lot of rain.
yeah.
yeah,
It's
very
usually like the
it's
one
like
if
tropical rain weather, just wet.
yeah. It would. If I think that out of the past like few years, we've had more wet races there than not.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but that was the problem, right? Like you'd run into a situation where like the rain would stop, but there would still be puddles all over that took a while to dry out.
Yeah. And like just rivers, like you can see here again, turn 13 is banked and flows downhill into the corners, but it's being reprofiled as a crest. So I think this corner might actually be, we have to see, I guess, when the cars get on circuit, might be slower going in because the surface is crested at the start of turn 13, like the other one where the water can run off both sides. But yeah, I don't know. We're going to have to find out tomorrow when practice starts. Practice starts in about 16 hours from now.
Tonight, basically.
Yeah, it's going to be Toronto time, Eastern Standard Time. We're at 11 a.m. right now. So turn 15.
Yeah, look at that crazy cambering that they added. Or no.
Yeah, so I think, like I was just saying, I think going into turn 13 is kind of, you don't even really break into it. You just kind of like turn in and just downshift and let the car slow. And you go, like, you need to get the perfect exit out of 14. So 15 is what everyone's been talking about.
Yeah. This is basically the iconic corner of this track.
Right. It's like it's a banked U-turn basically, but bless you.
God damn.
Gesundheit. It's still very quick. But what they've done is sort of crested it. The inside I think is still slightly cambered in, but most of the width of the full corner is almost cambered out, flat or cambered out. And it's sort of looking from this angle, the left, so the turn in to the corner, and the right, the turn out, the exit of the corner. The exit is lower by maybe a meter or two from the in, so you're kind of dipping downhill. But on the new profiling, they exaggerated that to push the apex way further out.
Go to next, and like it'll show you that. So that's it there.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, right. Look at that.
So what we're seeing is the blue is the old surface overlaid onto the new one. You can see the height difference. Yeah. So they raised up the inside of the corner, and the exit and the straight, the front straight, the main straight is very similar. But
if you're chasing the apex here, you're gonna have a hard time now.
Right. Yeah. The apex is basically to improve overtaking and force cars to go wider into the corner and take a late apex. You're sort of forcing a total. I don't know. It's just a totally different
approach to it.
For overtaking and just trying to hit the max speed on like a qualifying type of lap.
I wonder if it's gonna get interesting here. I mean, I don't think so, but the pit entry, who knows?
Yeah, I wonder if they scroll up a little, because that wasn't showed on the profile.
Yeah.
It looks like it's been moved out. Look at that. It is changed.
Oh yeah.
Look where the new entrance to the pit lane is right on the outside line of the track, right where the circuit meets the grass, and the old one is maybe halfway through, 3/4 of the way through the full corner, halfway through the exit of the corner.
They put like the gravel trap, like or whatever, like that runoff, like they made.
What they've actually done, it's hard to see with this. Like I don't know, we already went through this. We don't need to go through the side by sides. But anyone who wants to go to the f1fanatic.co.uk, they have a good like a slider. You can see the pictures side by side. But what they've done, you can't see with these black and white pictures, is a lot of the paved runoffs have been turned back into gravel.
Good.
Yeah, a bunch of them wherever they felt it was safe, but they aimed for more of a compromise with motorcycles than straight. I see. So a lot of the circuits have leaned more to MotoGP than F1 for safety, which you can't really blame them. Like a motorcycle is like it's a lot more dangerous to drive than an F1 car.
Also, right? MotoGP doesn't ask like as much money as Bernie does to host a race. It's like overall like more profitable, I think, or like it's easier to break even and make a profit with MotoGP because.
Can we just take a moment just to? This has been on the. I just fucking. I don't want to click it. I just.
Click it. Yeah. So we're done with the circuit run through. So that's kind of what they've done. We're gonna see it in person tomorrow.
So this is a new track.
Throw up that picture actually too of the just before we walk away from it. No. There's a photo, like a helicopter photo of the new surface. It's the fourth link up here. I highlighted it. Yeah, but they've got a helicopter shot of the circuit from the sky, and you can just see how it looks like they just painted the surface black. It's some dark asphalt.
But look at that track. So yes, this is, even by looking at it right there, I'm sure Mike, you get the idea that this is a fun track. It's nice and
Oh man, I'm actually kind of excited to test it out in Codemasters F1.
And actually, from these photographs here. Look at on the right side though. So that's turn 5 and 6, all the way on the right. Right. Yeah, that big S, a bit down. Yeah, that big S. Yeah. So the exit of 6 is fully gravelized now. There's no extra runoffs. There's no cheating.
Wicked.
Turn 5 has some because that's the quicker corner. You're sort of starting to slow a bit into 6. Like you're not flat out in it, but most of this you can see there's almost no gravel trap. The outside of 7 and 8 there as well. The bottom left. It's got some pavement, but they've re-graveled. Most of that was paved before. Almost all of that gravel is new again.
So this whiter stuff is the gravel?
That's all the gravel, yeah.
Okay, and this is gray, obviously, is the...
When the circuit was originally built in 2009, it was almost all gravel.
In 99?
Oh, sorry, 99. Yeah, it's hard to imagine that it's that old, man.
Yeah.
It's that old. 1999. Almost all of it was gravel, and then they slowly, like, the idea came that we should pave some of these because it's safer for bikes, and
Right.
it slowly got paved. Now it's gone back
when
the other
was
way.
it
a bit.
paved? Sorry, this recently?
Yeah, just for this year.
Yeah, for
For
this
this-
year,
yeah.
in the past few months. Yeah.
So I remember you guys mentioning. I think one of the previous races also had. Did your computer just die?
My computer just died. It just turned right off.
Rip Danny's laptop. Hashtag.
Yeah.
You guys were mentioning that freshly paved road is now. Which one do you want? This guy here. It tends to get like a little slippery.
Yeah, because
Yes.
it hasn't been worn in, right? And like
This is how new the circuit is here.
tarmac is like it's such a like it's almost like a liquid, right? Tar itself, and what you need to
The
like
bitumen and the asphalt is.
yeah, and for the next like year, pretty much, it's gonna be like still like every once in a while like getting some oils out until like it finally settles. And then people dry it, and like it goes from like that rich black that is now until like a sort of grayish color, which
Or,
is
like,
how it
some of
was.
The stones start to surface. There's
Yeah.
All this is another. Well, I don't know what they did here, what the surface is, but a lot of circuits are very different. Some of them they put more stones in the asphalt. Some of them they put less, so you get more of a grippy surface, but will wear your tires faster, or you can go smooth, and have more of a. I don't know, a slippery surface, I guess, but the tires last longer on it. But yeah, when it rains too on new asphalt,
It brings out all that
come
oil.
out.
That's the thing.
So something was actually done in this past week,
And that's when the white lines, anything that's painted, becomes super slippery. Like, you do not want to touch that because
Yeah.
otherwise you're off.
So Charlie Whiting was actually at the circuit in the past 2 weeks because there were safety concerns that when it rained there, some of the drainage wasn't good enough. So they actually dug and added a few more drains and had to cut a few more drainage lines. Like they cut sort of grooves in the circuit that water kind of follows, I guess.
Just channel?
Follows these channels off into the grass, off into the gravel. So it's off the surface. But when it rains too, the water soaks into the asphalt, and then when the sun comes back out, after it's been dried, the drivers change back to dry tires, it starts coming back out.
Oh,
yeah.
shit.
So
huh?
they've sort of, Charlie Whiting is whatever. He said he's satisfied for the weekend. They've added more drainage, cut more lines. The water's going to hopefully run off before it gets a chance to soak in anywhere. But yeah, that's just a characteristic of a new asphalt. By the time they come back next year, we won't even be talking about this, and that's it.
No, but it's interesting that we do that's gonna add.
No, I mean we're not gonna be talking about just like the surface characteristics. It'll be worn in and just like the road in front of your house, right? Like,
but
it's gonna look like anything.
It's gonna make it.
We're obviously gonna talk about Malaysia next.
Oh
time.
man.
What?
Oh man.
What happened?
What happened?
Oh man.
No, you just looked up the weather.
Oh, the weather.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yep.
Risk
Holy.
of thunderstorms.
Friday and Sunday, risks of thunderstorms.
Friday, Saturday.
Oh, Sunday's been upgraded. I looked this morning when I woke up; it was around 50%. Now we're seeing
80%.
37
Oh
degrees
my God.
Celsius. It's gone. The prediction's gone up a few degrees as well.
A wet Malaysian Grand Prix.
80% humidity with 30
fresh asphalt, like with all that oil in it. That's gonna be primo. That's what Red Bull wants.
Yeah.
Apparently, that's what Red Bull has been keeping their fingers crossed for. They really want a wet race because they think, according to their simulations and everything they have,
The super grip brake that they
well,
run.
yeah, that's it. Yeah,
It's gonna help them out.
Yeah,
Even though
yeah.
this is a quick circuit, this is one of the flat out circuits with the quick corners. This usually favors the low to mid downforce teams, the all arounder teams. This is more of an all rounder circuit.
But everybody's gonna have to go a little slower because of the rain. So then the extra downforce that the Red Bull has is gonna come to play.
Absolutely.
Oh man, Verstappen. You know, Danny Rick even said that he's learned from Verstappen.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hashtag so humble.
Yeah. Yeah, he says that he's doing some other stuff out there. He's been learning from Verstappen's technique. Which, but I guess he said he also said that Verstappen is very much like Vettel.
Yeah, I saw that. He said, I think he's like his drivingness is like Vettel. That he's similar or something like that. He's like as good. This Danny Rick posted this on Instagram, I think yesterday. This is how Malaysia is. He's just sweating his balls off. Look at that face, man. He's wetter than when I come out of the shower.
Yeah.
I don't even look that wet when I come out. My hair's too short, I guess. But look how wet he is, man. It's unbelievable, the heat there.
What a character.
Like, we had a really, like, this has been the all of Earth average temperature for 2016 is the highest that's ever been recorded since weather has been written down, right? This is the hottest temperature ever, and it's our hometown here. What do we reach 35s and 6s this summer?
Well, it definitely...
Not every day, and not driving a car when that's...
Well, it was in Toronto, at least. It was the hottest summer on record ever.
Yeah, all of Earth average temperature is the hottest year on record ever.
Yeah, it's insane, man.
From the North Pole to the equator, right? It's hot.
And it's gonna be hot in Malaysia.
Yeah,
and it's gonna be humid. Well, I mean, unless it rains, so if it's gonna be raining and hot with the track the way it is. It's gonna be a new I know that you said this before, but it's almost like we're getting a new track this year.
Yeah, it is.
It's similar to the old one, of course, and it's gonna have it's gonna take the drivers just a little bit to adjust to it, but in a sense you can't really take the previous lap records into consideration. You know what I mean?
No, you have to be reset. Like there's gonna have to be a record like the 99 to 16 record, or the 99 to 15 record, and the 16 plus record. For sure. Yeah, but we watched the driver's press conference this morning when we were prepping for this show, and that's something that Button said is that he's going to be working extra hard this weekend, watching all the sessions of the feeder series that are racing as well. Yeah, just to get an idea, like what lines are these drivers taking, what looks like it works better, and he's watching the feeder series to learn from them.
Because they're going into it blindly. I think I've heard that the thinking drivers actually do that. They watch the GP2 and GP3 to see what's been working.
Who was it there? Ocon, he said, is either way it would have been new for him anyways because he's never been there before.
True.
So he never got to drive the old circuit. I feel sorry for him.
Who are we playing as? Massa or Bottas?
Bottas. Why not?
Valtteri.
Give him a little plug here. VB77, the Valtteri Bottas YouTube channel, was launched yesterday with his.
Man, I had high hopes for that.
Self-produced the life story.
I was hoping that he was gonna show his hometown around and go out and say hi to a high school buddy, or go on to a bakery and get a whatever Finnish people eat. And
that's what I thought, right? Show this is my car, here's my parents and my sister, whatever, his family members.
Well, that was the tagline. That's what it said. It's gonna be on my journey from Nostola or whatever he is in Finland to F1. So I thought that he was actually gonna be there and do something cool. But no, it was just him talking, sitting down talking to a camera for a minute and a half.
I'm sure some of this exact criticism that we're making right now is posted by all kinds of trolls underneath his video, and whoever he hired to produce this, he's calling them up and they're scrambling to re-edit the rest of the series right now.
I hope so.
I don't know. Unless that was, we don't know either. It might just be the intro. This is me. He just kind of, the whole thing, if you haven't seen it, is just kind of him sitting there in a nice shirt with a background and two.
I thought so too. Stylized, I was like, man, that shirt is nice.
Two kind of stylized camera angles, and he's just saying hey, I'm Valtteri and this and that. I think you're racing here the old layout. You can
it's close enough.
You can even see it with that grass on the outside. Well, yeah, it's still gonna be good.
We'll see all the puddles.
Yeah, the river.
Oh, did you set it for rain weather?
Light rain.
Nice.
I thought I'd do a balance. Heavy rain, I just won't be able to drive.
So just while we talk here, because of copyrights and Bernie's stubbornness, Mike's gonna run a lap or two on the video game here, so you can
people F1 2016.
Yeah, F1 2016. You can just get a look at the track layout from this angle. It's the only legal way we can do it.
Yeah,
pretty much.
They do a good job of it too. They make it look all professional and nice. Good,
No, yeah, for sure.
Okay, I'm also not a great driver, by the
way. You're better than me, buddy. I'll tell you what. Do you know who holds the circuit record, for the lap record here?
For here?
Yeah.
I don't
know. I guess.
Is it Schumacher?
No, Montoya.
Montoya.
Yeah, right. He's still got a since
I gotta
since
hold on.
2004.
I couldn't see my clutch.
Since 2004, he's got a couple like
He has a couple of records
Yeah.
in 04. Yeah.
well, that was back in
And
the
he still
V10
holds.
days. Now that was a 134.22. That could be smashed this weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is exciting. Unless it rains, I guess. If it rains for qualifying.
Well,
then-
Pablo's
then
probably
we'll
going to be
see.
watching this one.
Yeah, that must get to you, man. As an old driver, like if you had like a long-standing record, like for over 10 years, it's been him. 12 years
wow.
now. 12 years running.
I don't think anything can get to that guy anymore, though. Like, honestly, he's
Oh God.
probably
We're having
one
problems
of
here,
the
boys.
most experienced drivers on earth as far
Yeah,
as
he's raced
variety
so
of
many fucking
experience. He's
things.
been at Champ Car, IndyCar, NASCAR, Formula One, almost every
He's I guess
worthwhile
I
mention.
guess he hasn't done Le
international-
Mans. Maybe no, he did Le Mans.
Yeah, I think he's done endurance racing too. I don't know specifically
Oh,
any of
God.
his record, but he's done all those other ones. It's
Oh,
he's
Jesus.
done well in every series as well. Like he's worked for. He hasn't started at the bottom and like, oh, I'll work my way up. No, he's a badass driver. Just talking about the heat here. I watched just to hype myself up the Inside Grand Prix show. You know that whoever made that
I
series.
think it's well, I don't know actually.
This week on Inside Grand Prix.
Is this a
That guy's-
motorsport?
Yeah, I think the motorsport.com makes it. But they I don't know why they use a lot of old footage sometimes.
Because it's the shit that they have copyright.
what
to,
they have
just
left
fucking
over, yeah.
burning.
Like they had a clip in it of Michael Schmidt, not you, the the
getting
the
confused.
AMUS Michael Schmidt, and he's talking about like team budgets and stuff in pounds. Like he clearly wasn't talking about Malaysia, or the video clearly wasn't from this year. There's a few things like that, but they did a mini segment on keeping cool in Malaysia. Some of the Danny Rick said last, some of the drivers wear those ice vests. It looks like a bulletproof vest, but it's made of ice instead. Some guys do that, or like we talked about from the previous few races. Sometimes your drinks button turns your protein syrup or whatever they're drinking into like a tea. So it must be hell trying to drink that. You just hydrate yourself before you get out there. But anyways, just a stupid quote from them. One of the most important is keeping your engine cool. And they cut to a clip of one of the engineers with the dry ice hose. They blow that into the engine to keep it extra cold. He had that stuck up his pant leg, spraying his balls with dry ice.
Oh man!
But it was just the quote. It's very important to keep your engine cool. And the guy's spraying dry ice on his balls. Yes. I guess only I thought it was funny.
I mean, you gotta keep cool somehow, man. Actually, I was looking at some pictures of this track and this race last year, and it did seem like most people were wearing like those stupid vests with the
quite a few actually.
with the ice, whatever the dry ice. Yeah,
You're gonna wonder what the the sort of discussion with the team is here. Like, because it's Danny Rick, one of the taller guys. I guess Ericsson and Hulkenberg are taller too, but they're like more skinny, I guess, just naturally. But a lot of them have been complaining about their diets with the new weight restriction this year.
Oh yeah.
So how much does that vest must weigh? Like a kilo, right? That's a lot
Well,
of weight.
I think they only wear it like while they're walking around. Like they don't go and like wear it inside their vest, inside their fire suit.
I think some of them do.
Really?
On top of the fire suit.
Huh.
Well, yeah. Lance Stroll just told us you can't wear anything under the fire suit.
Yeah.
But that makes sense. But I guess I'm gonna double check. I'll watch for it. Maybe during the practice sessions, at least you can wear it while you're driving, because those milliseconds aren't as important.
Yeah, maybe.
But like in Monza,
Man,
like,
it's gotta get to you. Like I know that like I grew up in Colombia. It's gotten it's as hot in Colombia probably relatively from where I come from as it is in Malaysia, and kind of the same kind of weather, humid, and like it rains all the time or whatever.
Right.
And just trying to do anything, like just let alone driving one of these cars, trying to do anything in that heat is like it's like your brain half shuts off, and like sometimes like you're just doing stuff like on plain like on just like
A
instinct.
few things that you have to do.
Yeah, I used to play like not all the time, and I suck at it. But playing soccer with my friends, I remember like after a while, like I would just be like, "Fuck this!" Like, seriously,
I'll
like,
watch you guys.
Fuck yeah, yeah.
Dude, there was like 3 of us in this podcast room this morning, and then like it just got too hot. Like,
Yeah.
I can't imagine what they have to deal with. Oh, I hit the wall. Good lord.
You suck.
Yeah, I'm pretty I'm so bad, guys.
Yeah, the heat, it's just incredible. I don't know.
And two hot races back to back. Like these guys are getting a pounding this
It's
year.
good to get them over with, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so.
Are arguably the hottest?
Yeah,
Like
those two are the
I
hottest.
think so.
Yeah.
even like Abu Dhabi?
'Cause that's
Well,
dry heat.
That's part of
Dry heat.
that's part of the reason they run it into the sunset. Bahrain though is another hot one, but I think they run that early in the year, so it's a little cooler there. It's not in the dead of summer where they run that race.
Yeah.
So, yeah, probably the hottest. You know, like maybe 3 years ago when we went to Canada, that might have qualified up there where it was in the 30s, like 32 or something. Everyone was
hot
dying.
as shit.
Nobody was prepared for that.
No.
The drivers and audience are like, nobody was. They sold a lot of beer that weekend for sure. Yeah, that was just the freak weather though. That was like they brought the weather with them or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Sorry,
Anyway.
I'm getting some frame rate drops here in the game here.
In the game, in the broadcast,
We're doing a lot of things here, boys.
doing a lot of stuff. After Malaysia, though, we can look forward to Japan. But that's a story for another podcast.
Is it 2 weeks from now, or is it like a 1 week sort of thing? Jesus, you know what? I'm just
2 weeks. I want to
Almost
say
certain it's 2 weeks, but yeah, you can check. I guess just check that quick.
yeah.
Another one we've been sort of following this because it's been tight the last few races is the Force India Williams team
Yeah,
race.
there's like there's so it's Malaysian Grand Prix this weekend, and then next weekend is Japan.
For those of you that like to ignore the Mercedes because they're dominant, whatever, blah blah, everyone hates them because of that. Another
Mercedes might actually clinch the title this weekend.
It's possible.
Yeah.
It's possible.
If they
The
finish like
constructors.
oh yeah, the constructors, yeah.
The drivers' championship might come down to the last race though. The Hamilton's dipped back a little bit, and I saw him in an interview this week where he was sounding pretty upset and saying that he wasn't even sure if he said the team's got what it takes, the team's got the car and everything, but he wasn't sure if he had the car. So I don't know what he was hinting at there, or maybe Nico's mechanics, something like that.
I think he's still like
He
trying
thinks
to say,
that he's gotten screwed, perhaps, that they gave him
Yeah.
some, like I said earlier, like put a few grains of sand in in one of the pistons or something like that. I don't know what he thinks.
Well, man,
I don't think it's. I think it's just
Listen,
luck.
he's
Like
just-
you just been running on high luck, and that's just
Well,
how
that's-
life goes.
like,
You know.
that's what
Part of
the
it.
British media has been saying for forever. Like it's like, oh, you know,
Oh, yeah.
Lewis Hamilton he just has had so much bad luck, and Nico Rosberg just hasn't had any bad luck.
I
Or
try to
not
keep-
as much bad luck.
I try to keep unbiased. I think it's
Yeah.
the luck thing, but Hamilton himself this week was saying that
But-
I'm not sure if I have the car. Just
I-
the way he worded it, and
Listen, I'm not a
His face?
Rosberg apologist or by no means like a Rosberg fan at all, but he stood his own ground this year, more so than last year.
Yeah.
And last year was more so than the year before.
Yeah.
He's clearly doing something right. And his win last week was not an accident.
no.
And you can say that for most of the races he's won this year. There have been some circumstances when he did have
Hamilton?
when he did have like a bit of good luck. Rosberg has had like good luck in terms of mechanical problems that Lewis has had, but at this point we have to say that they're fighting and they're fighting for the championship so closely matched because they have been closely matched.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you see?
Yeah, I'm pulling it up.
I forgot to save the picture, but it's not. Really. Another one of Hamilton's costumes here for the listeners. Hamilton's on the front of a magazine called Men's Folio. But anyways, he's wearing a fucking black cowboy hat with what looks like a white scarf around his neck and a jean shirt, underneath some sort of a blazer. He looks very ridiculous, like he's lost his horse.
That's there for like, oh, there he
He's
goes.
got the 1,000-yard stare. Absolutely.
Looking for his horse. This guy.
He's focusing on the under
champion.
brim of his hat. Oh my goodness! Look at him, man. Look at his face there.
Hey.
He thinks it's Halloween. Halloween's next month, man. In a month.
He's Lewis Hamilton. He can do whatever he wants.
At this point, he can fucking.
You see, like a week or two to the past,
If he wants to be a British cowboy, let him be a British cowboy.
he was down in the Caribbean getting twerked on by Rihanna, and he can do whatever he wants. Whatever he wants.
At the same time.
What a
Just
guy.
before we move on from these two clowns, you see Rosberg taking some different kind of negative publicity this week.
What did he do
I'm not
now?
even gonna look it up because it's whatever. He had Instagrammed or tweeted or whatever a picture of his wife and his daughter. And they're sitting on the bow of his yacht, and it's clearly going really fast. They're out in the ocean, and his kid's standing up on the bench, his daughter, with no life jacket on. So yeah, you know.
Come on, man.
Yeah, he took a lot of heat for that.
I know Instagram is important, but I know life jackets aren't,
I know where we live, it's the law. Like that's the law. I guess in the ocean you can do whatever the fuck you want. There's international laws take place, but I don't know.
Here, I'm gonna send you a link now, Mike. Just let me just put it up for a second. Hang on. It's
before
right at the top of
before we get excited by these Mercedes guys. Oh, okay, I'll wait 1 second here for this.
This is because I know that we're talking about like these drivers preparing for the heat. This is apparently Kimi Räikkönen.
Oh, this is what they. Damn.
Go. And for our listeners, this is a video that Puma Motorsport posted of Kimi Räikkönen in a sauna with like two of his mechanics, I guess, and they're dying, and he's just breaking a sweat.
He set it up to
Iceman.
Iceman!
He turned it up past 99 degrees.
But you gotta think. Kimi
He's
Räikkönen
sitting there in his race suit in a sauna.
He's not known for like doing this kind of shit.
stuff.
Yeah, no, like
he got paid. That was a Puma commercial.
Yeah,
Did
it
you
was
see
a
that?
Puma commercial.
Oh, this is from Puma's Twitter page.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but even getting him to do this, like, is big for Kimi. Must be big.
Yeah, the check was huge, I'm sure. The check was gigantic. That's
Like,
why he's fucking smiling. How much do you think they paid him? A lot of money.
He's a family man now. He's gotta do this kind of shit now.
He said, to quote this week, that his child has not changed anything about his career, his driving style, etc.
Do you think that maybe he heard us because we have been peddling that argument for a while, that as soon as drivers get a kid, they start like driving a little bit more carefully and
I
whatever.
think as soon as everyone gets a kid, but
Yeah.
he said no.
No, come on.
He's closed the gap,
It's
though,
me.
yeah.
It's me. He
Yeah, what can you
has.
say? He's closed the gap to Vettel.
Well, that's another story. Like, what is gonna
That's
happen?
another battle, to
with
watch
Ferrari
outside of Mercedes.
Are they gonna finish like even in the podium? I don't think so, man. Not here.
I don't know. Even between these two guys, who's going to finish the championship ahead?
That's true.
Right?
Holy crap.
Another one to watch
Yeah.
in the constructors, even if Mercedes clinches it this weekend, is Force India and Williams. This is a big story because the gap between them last year was like around $20 million,
Yeah.
just based on Williams finishing in fourth and Force India fifth in the standings. Force India is right now sitting 1 point different from Williams. The 111 versus 112. It's tight. It's as tight as it can be for the rest of the season, and it's up to those four drivers.
Man,
He's going to see some tight battles. Wouldn't be surprised if any pair of these four guys take each other out.
Yeah, we're talking about a 5-point difference in between
Mike's
Räikkönen and Vettel.
Mike's got the driver standings here too. In seventh is Valtteri Bottas Williams. 8th and 9th is Perez and Hülkenberg Force India, and 10th is Massa Williams.
Ooh.
Massa's got to pull his own weight here. He got to catch up to.
Massa doesn't give a fuck. Man. He's retiring.
It's a Force India sandwich.
Stroll should give him a call. Be like, hey man, you're making my seat look bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get out of there. No, but seriously,
I guess
that is I actually
Bottas is gonna get the black tee.
I hadn't realized.
Bottas is gonna get the black tee next year.
Yeah, he would be a more experienced driver.
Yeah. He's got the black tee.
You gotta fight for that black tee, man. But yeah, I guess I hadn't realized that. Look, or it wasn't like at the foremost in my mind. There is only 5 points between Vettel and Räikkönen. That is, if Vettel slips again, Räikkönen is gonna Raikkonen's gonna get fifth in the championship, fourth in the championship, and the gap in between
very close, man.
Yeah, now the gap in between Perez and Hulkenberg, that's significant. That's 20 points, but Perez and Bottas is only 4 points. So Force India shuffling up the scene here, man.
Danny Rick killing it too, man. There's every chance that he's gonna finish the first non-Mercedes third place in the championship this year. That's gonna happen. Verstappen's not gonna make up 50 points. Like, he'd have to win 2 races that Ricciardo didn't finish. There's just not enough time left in the season.
Yeah,
even though it's a long ass season.
Well, I mean, there's 6 races after this.
Yeah. Just an interesting quote as well from the Williams guys. Just because it's so tight with Force India, just to, I don't know, anyone that's a gambler or whatever. And Bottas said, though, in public to the media that he believes that Williams lacks the tire experience and expertise to really compete this year.
Bottas said that?
Bottas said that. Bottas said that. Something that Massa said was that I saw he was asked who, I think this was on the Inside Grand Prix yesterday, it might have been. Anyway, it was just like a quick fire type of thing like we just did. Who is the most famous person you've got in your phone? Without hesitation, he said, Eric Clapton. He texts me before every race. just a funny quote.
Who said that?
I think he's not going to be getting many more texts, though. No, Massa.
Massa.
Yeah, they didn't ask about it. It was like a quick fire between the 2 Williams guys. They didn't ask Bottas that, or they skipped his answer. Maybe he doesn't know anybody yet. He's trying to get famous.
Yeah.
I need Eric Clapton in my phone, man. How come I don't know Drake? Where's my Rihanna twerk? Give me a he's gonna come back, show up this weekend with a cowboy hat, this whole sleeve tattooed.
Yeah.
I guess they're all, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I saw that thing with Kimi. I think it really has changed. I think it's dawned to all of them that they have to get more people out there in the social media. They have to get
for themselves personally, for their teams, for the sport itself, for everything, man. Just the modern times. Yeah, it's just. And
you got to think that at one point when their careers is over, they have to look. When their careers is over.
What do?
Like, yeah.
What do?
Yeah. What are you gonna be like? What are gonna be like your revenue streams? And accumulating this kind of footage early on, like now, to like maybe be able to like use it later and like some sort of like this is my life story. That's gonna come in handy.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, that doesn't make sense what I was about to say. But yeah, for sure. Just. All these guys can afford themselves to hire like a small startup production company and say like, hey, I want to do like Bottas did. We haven't seen the next episodes, but there might be like they followed him around his town or something. And I don't know, a lot of athletes in other sports, 1 or 2 in particular, I'm not allowed to talk about anymore, I promise. But they're doing similar things, and especially in a sport like this and similar ones that you could compare like. I don't know, like all the racing series, whatever.
Vince Labera just says like, if Rosberg becomes world champion, will he get the black tee next year?
Oh man, I think Hamilton would just be like, you know what, I'm done.
Yeah,
forget this.
Yeah,
I think he's gonna be world champion with the yellow tee if he wins it, but. I've still got faith in Hamilton.
I think
it might come down to Abu Dhabi again, or almost.
Which would be awesome.
Yeah. And
if he wins, though, I'm pretty sure Rosberg will go for the number 1 car. Like he will, like how like Hamilton they kept his 44. Rosberg will wear that number 1 with pride.
Maybe I'm thinking of someone else, but wasn't it Rosberg just recently? He re-signed for 1 year, right? With Mercedes.
They're both till 2018.
He's got 2. He just signed 2. Yeah. So there has to be. That's like a 40-page contract. It's in there. He's the second driver. Yeah, he is. He's gonna be. They can't give him the black tee even if he wins the champion. Lewis is like, who's got more? Who's got more? Who's gonna win this? The next one. He's got the most races ever without winning a championship. Just on those numbers, Button's 300th race this weekend. That's kind of cool for him.
Well, he didn't seem to think so in the press conference when people were asking him.
Yeah, maybe he felt old or something.
He must be.
Maybe just
old.
Reminded him of his retirement or his soft retirement. He's kind of like we were saying, like not really sold on his own retirement. He's kind of I think he's pretending himself a bit. He's like, maybe if I like it, or if one of these guys, maybe Alonso will get tired. Maybe Van Dorn. No, Van Dorn's gonna kick Alonso's ass. Maybe he'll get Alonso's seat, but he's not gonna take it if Van Dorn's killing him.
Van Dorn's gonna kick Alonso's ass. I don't know, man.
I don't know.
Yeah.
See. Maybe not kick his ass, but he'll be competitive.
That fight is gonna be actually McLaren
it's
next year.
Fun to watch.
It's gonna be very interesting. Okay, so recently, one of the things that like made it to the top of Reddit was some Reddit user claimed that McLaren was gonna win Singapore this year, and if they didn't, that he'd eat like a Yu-Gi-Oh card. Like one of his, and
yeah, he showed me that this morning.
Yeah. I kind of wanna do one of those that like I'll eat something nasty if McLaren don't win next year, at all. Because I think that they have like, yeah, he did. He actually.
We should start doing these bets for like every race.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. No, seriously. Think of something. Pick something in this room, and I'll eat it if McLaren doesn't win next year.
How about this banana peel? I'll save it in a Ziploc bag for you.
Don't do that.
I ate most of this banana like an hour ago, and I just ate the last bite. You don't want to eat this peel,
no.
Even 5 minutes from now. This was bright yellow when I took it off the bunch this morning. It's black now.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, don't eat the banana peel.
But yeah, seriously, I will, because I am willing to say that McLaren is gonna win next year, at least once, maybe, probably.
Oh. Willing to bet on something?
Well, man, because we're talking about like they're all gonna show up.
They're ready. They say they're ready.
Yeah, and they're gonna show up with like the step in engine performance. They're from last year to this year, between last year to this year and this year to next year is gonna be monumental because there's no tokens to worry about. So these teams can actually Honda could just show up with a brand new engine that actually does the job.
Right.
Speaking of, they're bringing their upgrades this weekend.
Yeah.
Alonso's taking a 30-place penalty though. No wins for that.
Whatever.
But they're just doing testing, right?
Yeah, exactly. And they also like built like a huge facility, or like they made revamps to their huge facility in England. So Honda has an engine facility close to Milton Keynes. So
that on top of they announced, we mentioned they Honda themselves announced, maybe it was 3 weeks ago now, that they've hired and separated their engine team into two, and they have a whole separate group now working on the 2017
to 2018.
The new engines. So
that's something to look forward to.
Yeah,
Renault might actually show up with something good again. I mean, I doubt it, but they might. Like Renault is in a weird management crisis.
They've now admitted over and over too that they way underestimated what they thought the season was going to be for them, and that they gave up on this year a long time ago and started working on next year's car. So they've basically been testing, and that's part of as well.
Oh my God! Vince Labera just said, "Do a shoey when Stroll becomes an F1 driver." Okay. All right.
How about
I won't be
like a mountie hat, like drink out of like one of those mountie hats, like the Canadian.
Yeah.
Because we didn't make it Canada. Like I get the shoey thing, but I'm not drinking out of a shoe. Fuck that.
I ain't drinking out of no shoe.
I'll watch Jay do it.
I got some dirty ass Converse that you can drink out of.
Dank ass shoes myself.
Yeah, I don't want to drink out of your. Gross. Get out of here.
Can it be a glass shaped like a shoe?
Das Boot.
What I was saying there though is that Renault, as well as saying, we've kind of given up on this year. We underestimated it. We've been focusing on next year already. They've also said over and over for a few weeks they're in no hurry. We're not making any announcements on drivers. We're not. I think maybe both of them might be gone, and they don't want to, like we've said before, discourage K-Mag and Palmer. But I think I don't know. It's hard to say, man. I think at least Jolyon's gone. He's not driving in Renault next year.
No. Jolyon Palmer did absolutely nothing this year to prove that he's a worthwhile F1 driver.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, British people, but he didn't.
Even he was in the conference last week and he was asked about that, and his confidence was extremely low. It's disappointing to hear him even talk like that. 0 points. But 0 points earned.
He could have you could say that his car that he didn't have the car to show a great performance. But then, how do you reconcile that with
his teammate?
With his teammate number
He's
one,
pulled 7 points. We can see right there.
And people further down the grid, like Pascal Wehrlein, that have, despite their car, have still done something significant, something worthwhile.
As far as that dude is concerned, the interview we went over with Bernie last week, though, he said something that maybe he probably wasn't supposed to, is that he thinks Mercedes has given Wehrlein an engine as well as maybe a few other things to help him out this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
But still.
Yeah.
Like, they're even, like...
Compared to his teammates, though, he's killing them.
Yeah.
Whether or not... The reason he's got those bits is because he's the guy that deserves them anyways, right? That's what it comes down to. So... That's all he can say about that, really. Like, we're gonna find out who their drivers are sooner or later. Like, there's no real rush. Like, I don't know. I'm pretty confident though that K-Mag's safe.
Cool, but who knows? But K-Mag might actually want to look at another team too, right? Because
he probably has been, right?
It is. I think Renault is in F1 at least for the next. Like their commitment, they've allocated resources and they've made a business plan.
I don't think they're gonna quit and turn around.
Yeah, they're not gonna quit.
They're staying,
quit this year, next year, or the year after. So they're a team that's gonna be there for a while. But for them, it makes more sense to have Ocon there. So if anything, Ocon might get that seat, and then Magnussen's seat doesn't seem like it seems like it could be in Chicago. Maybe not though, right? So I think that if Magnussen isn't looking at another team right now, like he should start. Just to have it as a backup plan, because Renault when are they gonna announce people?
He is one of those guys, K-Mag, that's also embraced the social media type of stuff. That he's pushing his personal life, brand. Like here's what I'm doing. Check it out. I'm partying here, partying there, doing some cool stuff. Look at this car I'm driving. Whatever, all kinds of stuff in his social media. Which I don't know. It's important. Whether or not it's gonna keep him his seat, I guess we'll find out. Somebody, though, who might be switching teams also, or switching sport, perhaps, who also was fighting for that Renault seat, is Perez.
What do you mean switching sport?
He just said this morning that I guess he's giving an ultimatum to his sponsors.
Shit,
at the top.
I didn't know that.
He said that if he doesn't get a solid confirmation this week about 2017 and Formula One, that he's going to start looking in other sports, that he's going to have to start looking to other motorsport.
Oh my god.
So I don't know.
Where would he go though?
He already said back before Canada that his dad, remember his
was holding like a Renault.
His dad probably got smacked for that. His dad went out in the media all excited. My son's going to have a huge announcement in Canada. This was like 2 weeks before Canada, 2 or 3 weeks, that big things are happening. My son's getting big announcement. Never happened. And it never happened since then, right? So, yeah, I don't know. That's what he said, though, anyways.
Yeah.
So, because he said himself, there's a picture of him holding the Renault sign. He said that he was confident that he's going to be where he wants to be. It's his dream, that he's confident with his team right now. Obviously, they're kicking ass. I don't know. It's confused. It's gone so much back and forth. I don't know. Anyways, that's what he said, though. I guess we'll find out. There's only 3 days left till Sunday, right?
Where would he go? I see that.
WEC or whatever. Right?
The WEC is where you go to end your career if you're one driver.
Yeah, if you're in, there's a but he wants to race, right? And maybe it's even uncertain whether or not he has a seat at all. Only he knows, really, right? Yeah. Him and a handful of people really know what's happening.
How about Haas?
And for him?
Yeah.
For Perez? That might make a lot of sense too, right? America, pushing North America. I'm sure his sponsors have a lot of interest in America as well, as far as pushing their products.
Because we've been talking a lot of shit about Honda making a big step next year, but Ferrari could also make a monumental step in terms of their engine side.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know that like Ferrari is like a team in disarray, and like the works Ferrari team, for them to get back to the top, like it could take them a couple more years while they get like their whole James Allison staff worked out. But their engine, like the whole James Allison leaving, didn't affect the engine team. The engine team has been working for a long time on the 2018 engine already. So it could be that like maybe Ferrari show him like something like to be like, yo, our next year's engine is gonna kick us. Maybe you want to go to Haas.
I believe it was in that as well. The
Yeah.
Eddie Jordan, Bernie Ecclestone interview. It was hinted that as far as I believe, what was hinted. This is not quoted anywhere. This is what I pulled from it from my own personal interpretation of what I read, was that Ferrari, though, in the interest of Formula One as a whole, Ferrari got some technologies from Mercedes as well as perhaps one other team to help them compete in the series, because Mercedes got a jump on the other teams, started kicking ass early, but that Mercedes, in the interest of keeping Formula One not to be completely like like Mercedes triple laps everyone, gave or sold to Ferrari and one other team some of their technology,
Like one other manufacturer.
yeah, just to allow them to compete a bit. Perhaps that jet ignition, because that was in the news. Like, when do you see some kind of turbine jet ignition, which is like the top end secret of the technology? Like, this is probably the most advanced thing, one of the most advanced individual technologies in the whole engine. Yeah, which is itself a crazy technology. Anyways, just speculation.
Could be, man.
Rumor. But
why not?
Yeah, just
because
like
that is.
People are
here's the thing
not
with
watching. They need to sell Mercedeses, right? They're selling like vans and SUVs on the side as well. People want to like.
Well, here's where that argument
watch
comes from, and where a lot of people like say that could not be like that can be something that's not completely unfounded, is because this kind of stuff happens already in like the real world of like automotive like manufacturing. The big auto companies get together sometimes and they say, you know what, for the benefit of the industry as a whole,
standardizing things.
Yeah, let's open up this piece of technology for everybody to use or something.
OBDs, onboard diagnostic computers, that there was a first, second, and third generation. I think cars have sort of evolved beyond that now, but that was a common thing for cars. Like, a million things. They can ship parts and cut down on manufacturing, shipping. Exactly.
Yeah, and the more people that are using these like these little bits, the more that like the cheaper they become, because in mass production and all that.
For everyone.
Now, the other advantage of and I think that what you're saying could make enormous sense, because turbojet ignition is one of the things that in the scale of the things that you can switch around in your engine to make it go like to increase the performance. TJI is probably one of the easiest things to implement, maybe, because it's just,
as far as like tuners and people who like to soup up their cars, it's like a bolt-on.
Yeah,
there's something you can just stick it on. You don't have to do any extra tuning or adjusting. You just kind of like you do, of course. But as far as F1, it's more of almost like a bolt-on.
It's not like separating the compressor and the turbine from the turbo. Yeah. Like that would change everything. Yeah. Like, you have to like redesign the whole engine as opposed to just whatever that little chamber. Turbojet ignition. If people are if anybody's still wondering, or if you're just got into the sport, we did actually we talked at.
We did a large segment going back. You can find that
a few podcasts ago. But essentially, what it is that it adds, instead of all the combustion happening is in the piston, in the chamber, there's kind of like a pre-chamber where
pre-ignition.
Yeah, and then shoots the hot fire out into the piston, so that there's more of an even combustion inside the main chamber, and that gives you performance.
Right.
Yeah.
Correct.
Or it gives you more bang per gas.
Yeah, more efficient, more efficiency, more power from the same fuel.
Yeah.
Etc.
You need to. It goes hand in hand. You have to work with your fuel supplier to fully implement that, because little changes that you can do to the fuel would go a long way. And that is part of, like, at the beginning of the year, Ferrari, for example, was saying like, hey, we may have like gotten like, you know, a tenth of a second just in fuel, like in the new fuel, like the new fuel might have given us a tenth of a second. It's because of developments like this. But again, I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that the more that the teams share, the better. And honestly, if I was given like full reign of the FIA, for example, I'd say to hell with it. Let's make all of the engine specifications. So, like anything that you do, it has to be open. Like you know what I mean? Like all of your specs, at least like do away with all this secrecy and shit. Just be like, you know what? You're gonna come to F1 with a new development, with a new technology. Open it for everybody, because not just for other people in the sport, but open it to the world at large. Let people see what you're doing, and that could only be good for the sport. Honestly, like I've given this a lot of thought, and like I think that like a good way to get rid of like these like crazy competitive advantages that some teams have over another, like could be just that. Could be if you're bringing a new engine, a new part, a new whatever to F1, you have to put the specifications up for everybody to see. What does that do? Like, if somebody comes up with something revolutionary and completely new and whatever, then the other teams can copy it or can do like their own version of it, and thus like not letting anybody have like a massive advantage over another. And it would also, in a way, like after a while, after everybody stops crying, it would drive innovation. And it would drive, because then you'd have to like, you'd be forced to like think outside the box. I don't know.
I think it still leaves the teams with the most amount of money they're still going to be ahead.
Yeah, but
right?
not by much, perhaps.
Maybe not.
Not like out of reach.
Yeah.
Not the way that Mercedes has been dominating, for example.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But do you think the Mercedes dominance is just based on not just their car, but their drivers, the work that they put behind
everything,
the scenes,
right? It can't.
right?
Yeah.
Their
It's not just
front
one
suspension.
Yeah,
If anyone's
suspension.
interested in that, we did a little special on that too. They've been doing some sort of fricky type stuff, but that's too much to talk about again now.
One of the things that one of our listeners asked Vince, he said he asked if Magnussen is still connected with McLaren, because he might get Alonso's seat if Alonso decides to retire. On that, I don't think Magnussen is tied to McLaren at all. Like, they broke those ties very harshly. Remember, on his birthday, they sacked him. But I heard this from Joe Sayward's podcast. That podcast, if you're listening to us, clearly you're into podcasts. There's a very, very good podcast that Joe Sayward does every once in a while, like every 3 or 4 months, with the people from Side Podcast. If you go to sidepodcast.com, you'll find it there. It's called An Aside with Joe. And even though I don't agree with everything that Joe Sayward says, and I think that like he talks a lot of shit a lot of the time, and it's very like, oh, Britain, oh, British teams, but what he had to say about this is that the way that Jenson Button decided to retire, but by still like having that association with McLaren, is precisely that. It's precisely just in case Alonso next year he does 2 races and decides, fuck this, you guys did not deliver on what I like. You guys are not.
He mentions every second race. He's like, maybe if I'm having fun, then I stick around.
Exactly. So in case Alonso next year decides that he doesn't like the car, then they'll have Button there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess, I don't know, we're almost wrapped up here, I guess.
Yeah.
With the some rule changes this week were proposed and
have been confirmed.
Yeah. But just before, one more quick one here for this weekend, Pirelli. Mm-hmm. We mentioned, I think going back to Hungary, Pirelli was testing in the free practice with a few teams some unmarked black tires that they didn't really say what they were, anything. They just asked the teams to drive them, see what they thought, give comments, and gather some data. But the idea was, from Malaysia to the end of the season, to change the back tires, and this is coming off of the spaghetti tire, when its tires, a few tires have just exploded.
Yeah, in Austria, yeah.
And the complaints from the teams about Pirelli raising the minimum PSIs on these current tires, because they don't get as much grip, and the whole profile of the tire on the car is different. The changing of the tires for this race required unanimous approval from all the teams, which didn't happen. But for this race, for Malaysia, Pirelli has put out the guidelines for pressure, 21.5 PSI for the front, which is the same as it's been, which is high for F1, but 18.5 in the rear. So what the speculation is from a bunch of the teams and people in the paddock on the news, etc., is that Pirelli went ahead and changed the construction anyways without the consent and just did it. Pirelli, at the end of the day, they're concerned about their reputation, making sure their tires look good because they want you to put them on your Honda Civic or your minivan or whatever.
And safety.
For their safety, but that's their image. If somebody gets hurt on a Pirelli tire, on Monday they sell less of them, right? So it was unspecified, no details, no source on this, secret source. But apparently one or two of the teams had secretly taken one or two of these tires off of their rims.
Because just perform their own tests on it?
No, they hung them on a scale and weighed them. And to clarify too, these tires are changed in the construction, not the tread. The tread is exactly the same.
Right.
The tread hasn't changed. It's the exact same.
It's a construction, not the compound.
No, yeah, not the compound, not the tread, not the width, not the stickiness, not the chemistry. It's basically the sidewall and how the sidewall connects to is connected to the tread as the structure, the engineering of it. Apparently, these new tires, anyways, are 50 grams heavier.
Oh yeah.
Each, yeah. So this is what one team discovered, and this is where the accusations come in. So who knows? But whatever. If it gives better racing, then I'm not going to be mad at them for breaking the rules, right?
No, of course.
But speaking of
Vince
rules,
LaBerre says, yeah. What are the rule changes?
The rule changes for 27. There's a couple for 2018 already proposed, but for 2017, number one, Pirelli to mandate tire selection for first 5 races.
This is, by the way, courtesy of Tobias Gruner.
Yes, I should have mentioned that. Yeah. Sorry. Tobias Gruner, our pal, dropping all kinds of inside knowledge all the time. I don't know where he gets these sources from.
Michael Schmidt.
Word Michael Schmidt doesn't like to use Twitter.
Yeah, no. He doesn't know what Twitter is.
He told me, tweet this. Number one, I'm going to read this word for word from his tweet. So anyway, for the first 5 races, because everyone's coming in brand new cars, fatter tires, new rules, new construction, new weights, more fuel, all kinds of stuff. Pirelli will mandate tire selection for the first 5 races, 2 of the hardest, 4 of the medium, 7 of the softest. Not meaning hard, medium, and soft, but whatever out of the 5 are selected for that weekend. We're still going with at least 5 compounds, perhaps 6. There's still room for that to happen. Mm-hmm. The first FP1 tire set may be used longer than 40 minutes if there is a stoppage in the session.
So this is during first practice 1. They introduced that last year. This year to make sure
an expansion on this year's rule.
Yeah, to make sure that there's still some cars are on the track at the beginning of practice. There's an extra set of tires that teams are given. They can only use that for the first 40 minutes.
Of the first practice.
And then they have to give it back to Pirelli. So now, if somebody crashes their car and there's a red flag at the beginning of FP1, they'll extend that period, basically. Just to make sure there's some running in FP1.
There's been some clarifications to the engine rules. New engine rules to prevent stockpiling of power unit elements like Hamilton did in Spa. He just took like 50 places of penalty, whatever, and piled up 3 engines in the back of his. Well, it might be worth
to explain how he did that. So what he did was basically just bring him in throughout the week, like just put a new engine, then like they took it out and then they put another engine, right?
But what they did was the team wasn't sure whether or not they were going to risk running his engine that they knew might not finish the race.
Yeah,
the one that he was running the previous races, and they had found this loophole. And they brought an extra couple to Spa. So he ran the first engine in practice, went into the pits. They took the car apart and replaced the full engine with a new engine. He went out and ran it just a little bit.
This is engine number 2.
Number 2. He ran that engine, which everyone assumed, like, oh, his first one is blown. That's garbage now. Yeah. He's going to race this till the end of the season. He just went out and ran it, kind of warmed it up, parked. They took the whole car apart just to that.
So he got the penalties?
Zach got that engine on the paperwork that said that it's being used for this weekend. That's part of his arsenal of engines, his arsenal of weaponry. Then he put in a third engine, the garage, and he raced on that, leaving him 2 engines, which are brand new.
that when he uses it next time, he's not gonna get any penalties because he already got those penalties in Spa.
And he's got a third engine.
Stacked them.
Yeah.
And he's got a third engine that they can save
Crafty.
maybe for testing some other parts, but it can still be run. It hasn't been scrapped yet,
Okay.
so he's got those stockpiled.
They went around the loop a lot.
Yeah.
So they've closed that loop.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly. I don't want to say and be wrong, but I think
What do you mean,
something
no?
like Alonso with this weekend with his Honda engine. I think they're saving his other one still
Yeah, maybe.
to be used again under
Whatever.
under the same.
Let's speculate.
same
That's
loophole.
what we're here for.
Yeah. I guess we're gonna find out tomorrow at practice, but
Tonight.
whether or not that's true, yeah. Next one, new procedure for standing start in the wet after first laps behind safety car. So this year you can't start in the rain anymore from a standing start, but now they're gonna do cars starting from the pit lane have to return to the pit lane for that standing start, but they're still going to drive around with the safety car maybe 1, 2, 3 times as many as it takes to throw the water off the track as much as possible. So there's no standing water, there's no puddles, no rivers on the tracks that need to be resurfaced.
So what's different in that? Before, what they would have done is they have the cars running behind the safety car, and then at one point they would pull the safety car in, and the race continued in sort of that order. So you got that anti-climax where like you didn't see people like rushing to the first corner. No, what they're doing now is like So if there is like rain and like there's a stoppage, whatever, the safety car will bring them all back. They'll line up on the grid and like start as if it was like the start of the race, so that like it will be more exciting because
No, I don't think that's it. I think this is just for the start of the race.
Yeah, for the start of the race. Yeah.
Not during the race.
Yeah, no, not during the race. For the start.
They'll just continue.
Yeah,
they'll just continue.
Yeah, for the start. But it's important because I forget which race it was though. We lost all that build up, like
gaps.
Yeah.
Rule number 5. This is retarded. Drivers given official permission to change helmet livery design for one event per season. Get the hell out of here, man. This rule was made because of Vettel. He used to come every race with he had hired artists, badasses to paint. He had some wicked helmets, and it's whatever, a million helmets. Not allowed anymore, so you can bring one. Come on.
So they do this because
Bernie
at
got
least
upset?
all the drivers like to do like something different with their helmet for Monaco. It usually was like show up to Monaco with like just a different helmet design of some sort. But since Vettel kept changing his helmet all the time, they said, "Oh, that's gotta stop." So now they're only allowed to like they have to have like a one main helmet design, and they have to stick to it more or less.
Vettel had some badass ones, man. He had specific ones to certain countries, to certain circuits. For a couple of the night races, he showed up with glitter helmets. It looked amazing under the lights.
He actually. Oh wait, no, was it?
I'm talking like
Vern at one point. Like he showed up to, or no, it was Vettel. I don't remember exactly. He showed up with LEDs in his helmet, like that.
Cool.
Yeah,
I think that was Vettel. Yeah. I'm talking like back in his Red Bull days. He used to show up. There's one of them.
Yeah.
He used to show up every race with a different helmet until he wasn't allowed anymore.
Yeah.
So number 6 is a clarification of unsafe release violations. No clarification on the details of those rules. But there's been a couple this year unsafe releases that weren't penalized just because they fall slightly outside the rules. Like there's one last weekend, I think K-Mag. It doesn't matter. It's not going to happen anymore. Number 7. Modified 107% rule for Q2 weather changes to prevent a situation like happened in Hungary. So I guess if it starts raining and you qualify in a position, but outside the 107%, which would have been set if that was set in the dry, you can get signed off.
They'll probably just like the stewards would probably just look at on a case by case scenario.
Yeah. That's going to be a very subjective type of rule to enforce. And the final one, number 8 here, is a new signal at the pit lane entry. So I guess they've come up with a new kind of flag, a new flag,
or some sort of like an actual traffic light.
A light maybe. A new signal at the pit lane entry, anyways, to guide the field through the pit lane. So if there's like the last race, there was a crash right at the start. So on the main pit straight, there's pieces of car, like broken pieces, whatever. If that happens, when the safety car comes out, there's gonna be some sort of rules now for them to drive through the pit lane and just avoid the main straight if possible. Yeah, so they can go around it. And so that's it for 2017. For 2018, there's 3 rules proposed. New wind tunnel restrictions.
Yeah, that's to drive CFD development.
Yeah, and that will be to do with the Haas Ferrari thing that happened this past year, where there was a huge conflict of interest. We talked about this a lot already. Anyways, it's never going to happen again. Number 2, new rules for CFD development, which a lot of teams were asking for, like Haas, that said, like, hey, man, why can't we build a supercomputer? Wind tunnels are expensive to build and run and pull data from. You can simulate a lot of stuff just in a supercomputer, which is cheaper to run, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And new tire rules, specifically tire sets of the same spec may be mixed in the race.
Wicked.
So you can put, like if you like lock up your front left, I guess you can put another of the same compound front left tire.
As opposed to changing all 4 or something like that.
Changing all 4 and that set's garbage now.
Yeah.
So I guess we're going to see, it keeps the cars on track longer.
Yeah. Shorter pit stop.
Yeah, a lot of stuff. That could be interesting too. Imagine, I was thinking like during practices and qualifying and just like putting aside your tires for the race you can mix, but because right now we know they have barcodes on the tires, and somebody comes around and makes sure you don't mix the tires, make sure you don't change them, make sure you don't do anything. Maybe make your own tires and put a Pirelli sticker on them. You can't do any of that. But it would be interesting to see someone lock up a tire and have the gap to change one tire. I don't know, would they do that? Maybe they might. Yeah. There's a lot of, it's maybe like there's a lot of pit stops, say for a race. A lot of teams make a lot of pit stops, say like 50, 60 in a race total, right? So out of that, at least 2 or 3 every race, something happens where a tire doesn't get on properly. Somebody fumbles, they drop their gun, somebody is in the way, unsafe release. Cut down on that, right? Yeah. And the second specification is fitted tires may not be used on a test rig during an event. So once the tire is mounted on a rim, you can't I guess they probably have grip testing machines and load testing machines and stuff like that. None of that's allowed anymore, because I'm sure probably like 2 teams have that or whatever, like the really, really good team,
like Ferrari, probably
Mercedes, and those are the teams that were they changed the rules mid-season about, they had those tricks about like heating up the tires or like whatever to fake a PSI, and then when the temperature adjusted to race temperature, it was lower than when it was measured by the FIA and the Pirelli specialists. There's a lot of, that was a mouthful.
Cool.
But yeah, it's a lot of stuff, that those rules that you don't really, you do notice them like in front, but they're not like I don't know what the word is. Like, they change the game a lot for sure. Yeah. But there are a lot of very minute things that they're kind of like almost cheating this year, but at the same time, like when people make those air quotes again cheats, like the Mercedes tire pressure thing or et cetera, I laugh. It's great. Like cool, man. That's the rules, right?
They're still playing within the rules.
I've said this quote a million times. I love it. In racing, it's not cheating if you don't get caught. That's kind of from karting on up. That's the saying.
I guess one thing before we close it up. This weekend, we are yet again doing F1 at Betty's in the new redesign of Betty's. We will be again hosting the race. If you are anywhere near Toronto, we do encourage you to come out. Betty's is just at King and Sherbourne downtown. Great place. We've had a good consistent amount of guys that show up, as well as every week we see new faces coming in.
The renovations are pretty good, actually.
Yeah, we have 2 big screens going on with either like the race and some race information, like live timing going on.
Threw me off at first, but it seems to be working better, actually.
Oh yeah, 100%, man. It's great. It's great fun. If you don't mind just staying out of the F1 news until you see it, because it's in the afternoon, so we don't show it live. We show it on a delay. This weekend is going to be a pre-show. We're going to start at around 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and then the race at around 4. Come up, and we have half price off nachos and wings.
I must say, though, I believe my grandma's turning 80. Depending on timing, I might not be able to make this one, unfortunately. Pretty disappointed.
We'll have a
myself.
drink for underground.
Oh yeah, I'll cheers towards the bar. On the backyard. But anyways, special thanks to Lance Stroll, his manager, and Tim Horaney. Thanks for the encouragement.
And see you guys next week.
See you next week. See you Sunday.
Or this week.
Hopefully, I'll see you Sunday. I hope so.
Oh, you'll make it.
That's the plan.
See you guys.
Thank you, Mike.